Hi everyone, it's Anne from Curious Moon Design. I want to show you today how to make this lovely little journal ready for trick-or-treating, to make for a gift or just for yourself. So I have my supplies. I've printed out my pages. I used the printer to make them smaller. So I printed 2 pages on one A4 size, so they come out this size. So I'm going to use these throughout the book, a little booklet. I'll just put those to one side for a minute because I'm going to concentrate on the cover. So I've got some brown corduroy fabric, which I think was a skirt or pair of trousers. And I found these little pieces, which I'm going to hopefully make a pumpkin out of, and some other little bits of applique to go on them. So firstly I want to cut out the cover. I might have to press this again in another. I'm going to double up so it's got a lining as well, and just cut out the size I want for the cover of this little notebook. And then before I stitch them together I shall add some pieces of applique. So I'm going to draw out a pumpkin, or maybe get my daughter to do that, as a template, and then I'll pin the template to this and cut it out and add it to the front and stitch it. But before I get there I'll show you that piece. So I'm just going to go and cut the cover out to match the size of my pages, which will be folded over like so. And then I'll come back. Okay, I've cut this piece out, managed to get a piece that will work well for the notebook cover. And I've got the seam that was on there going up the middle. So when I fold it, it will be just about the right size for my little pages. Now what I've done is measured, well not measured, but put it in half and then put some pins around where I think the seams will be. So I want to put my applique on this part of the cover, so I know the amount I can put in there now and sew it on. And I have managed to draw a pumpkin. It's a pretty simple shape really, on a scrap piece of paper. So I just want the basic shape and the right size for that to go on there. So I'm going to cut that out and then cut this piece of fabric out. I'll pin that onto there, cut this out, and then I can work on that for my pumpkin. Okay, that's that shape. I'm going to have very simple shapes, but I think I will have a little ghost on there. So a very, very simple ghost. Something like that I can cut out of this one. Might be a bit big. It's handy, these pieces of paper are from the book I use for my altered book. A little ghost on up there. I was going to have a moon, but it might be too much. But if I just do a circle moon, it won't look So I'll have to have a crescent moon. That might be too big. I might have to make the little ghost a bit smaller. I'll try it large first and then I can always cut it down. There, that could work. Of course these would be different colours as well, so I'm going to pin this on here. I'm going to do it double so it's a bit thicker and cut that shape out, and the ghost will be from this I'll just put a pin in there and then have the moon. Okay, so when I've cut those out, I'm going to work on them, I'll come back. Okay, so that's all the shapes cut out. I found a piece of silver fabric to use for the moon, so it's slightly different to the ghost. So I'm going to take it over to the machine now and sew them on to the fabric. So I'll sew an edge on here and then I'll try and put some lines down in a brown cotton just to give the ribs of the pumpkin, and again with the ghost I'll outline it and then I might sew the eyes on by hand and sew the moon on. Now you could make any number of these little booklets to give out to your friends for trick or treating, and little tiny journals to make notes in, and you could have lots of shapes on here. So you could have a cat, you could have a bird, a full moon, some stars, whatever you like on them, and it's going to be a very simple make, but hopefully a nice little gift. Now again, you don't have to machine sew these, you could hand stitch around, but I'm going to, for quickness, use the machine. And once I've done that, I'll come back and show you. Okay, well I've sewn these on. I've got the little ghost. I machined around and then I've just hand sewn some eyes on, and the moon is there and the little pumpkin, and I made some lines down here too. I penciled them in first so I could follow them. One thing with the pumpkin, I wasn't sure whether to put, rather like on one of the pages, let's see, whether to put some eyes on there. I might cut some out. I'd have to hand sew them because it'd be very fiddly on the machine. I don't know, I think I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, so now what I want to do is right sides together. See all my ends here I've pulled through. I'm going to stitch these edges. I'm going to leave this edge so I can turn it the right way out, and then I'm going to leave this open so that I can put some card in or something, just so that it's a bit firmer, so it's not too floppy. So I'll go away and stitch the edges, come back, and then I'll cut some card out to go in inside there. Okay, well I've done my stitching around, and now I just want to add the pieces of cardboard just to make it a bit firmer. I was going to use one of these board books, but I think that'd be too thick. So I've got a box, and I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger than this paper. I might have to find another box. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut just slightly larger than the paper I'm putting inside, because the cover is slightly larger. And when I've done that, I'll come back and show you. Okay, well, I found this piece of card, a cereal box, and I've cut it to size. I'm just going to try it in here. Quite snug, which is nice. Well, I think that fits nicely, because I'm going to fold this in now. And then stitch all the way around before I bend the card, I think. And I think I'm not sure it'll show anyway, but I think I'll do it in the orangey cotton just to neaten the edges. So I'll go to my machine and do that. So you could do it by hand, but for quickness I'm just going to do that, and then we'll come back and see where we go from there. Okay, well, I've put it together now, so I'll have a quick flip through, show you how it looks. I think the front looks rather nice and spooky, and inside, as I said, I've printed the pack very small so it fits in here nicely, and I got 2 of these to 1 A4 page just by setting my printer. I haven't put lots of ephemera in here, it's just a little booklet, but there are a few bits and pieces. This lovely tag with a spooky house on, and some of the words I've printed to make as a belly band, and a little pocket here with another card, and I've added some wording with some of the fabric that was on the front. Made a little pocket there of a page. There's some journaling space on the back, and I've added a few words all the way through. Witching hour. Some beautiful pages in here. Another one of the spooky tags there. Lots of journaling space, or space for writing potions and little spells. Some of the pages I put in upside down. I put mischief there just to add to the sort of spookiness, and some nice writing pages there. Little envelopes. I haven't used a lot of the ephemera from the pack, just a few bits and bobs. Another envelope with a little letter there, a cat on. Another upside down page. Bewitched. Halloween, and curiosity. I think it's a nice little gift to give someone for Halloween, little trick or treat journal for a friend, Well, I hope you enjoyed that little make, and I hope it's inspired you to make something. Please join me again next week when I'll be crafting with some fabric or paper. It'll be lovely to have you along. Bye for now, everyone.